I love movies and like TV shows. With hundreds of channels and thousands of podcasts on the internet, people today are kind of spoiled. When I was growing up, my generation only had 3 or 4 choices in TV channels. One of those choices was PBS. So if you liked Sesame Street, which I didn't, you were in business. My love for geography and history, though, were encouraged by TV shows, documentaries, and movies. Take, for example, good old Jacques Cousteau's Underwater Journeys, National Geographic specials, and an assortment of TV shows like Daniel Boone. They all made the events of other times and places come alive. The Western adventures of Little Joe Cartwright and his doppelganger Charles Ingalls, along with Marshal Matt Dillon, stirred my imagination, making me want to ride a big horse across an open prairie. It seemed like every weekend I could count on there being at least a John Wayne, Robert Redford, Charles Bronson, Burt Reynolds, or Clint Eastwood movie showing up on one of those 3 networks. Of course, I was also a Trekkie, so I was glued to the TV to watch all the Apollo missions. When I got older and traveled some, I realized that a lot of places shown in movies and TV shows looked different from the places that I saw with my own eyes. When Hollywood does geography, sometimes you have to use your imagination because the people and scenery they show are often not accurate. Today on The Vantage Point, we're going to take geography to Hollywood. I hope you'll join me. Have you ever seen Harrison Ford's The Fugitive from 1993? You might recall that it's a movie about a famous Chicago surgeon named Richard Kimball who was unfairly convicted for ferociously killing his wife. When he was being transported on a prison bus from the Cook County lockup to the state penitentiary, other inmates on the bus attempted an escape, causing the bus to plunge down a ravine. Kimball escaped the pandemonium by floating down a river with Class 2 rapids in Illinois. Naturally, I start to think to myself, where are there Class 2 rapids in Illinois? As the camera in the scenes pan around, there are 5,000-foot peaks in the scene. If you're wondering what big deal that is, the highest point in Illinois is the gently sloped Charles Mound at 1,235 feet above sea level. Wow! Despite being transported across mostly flat land from Chicago to Illinois, Richard Kimball found his freedom by floating down a Class 2 river located 600 miles from Chicago. There are absolutely no places in Illinois that comes even close to looking like the train crash's actual filming locations in Fontana Village and Chiowa Dam, North Carolina. If you grew up on Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, or Bonanza, there's a good chance you got hooked on the Western crime drama Longmire. I loved all 63 episodes that ran from 2012 to 2017. Despite high ratings, it was canceled because the people who watch shows like Longmire are not part of the demographic that buys products sold by TV advertisers. At any rate, Longmire was about an Absaroka County, Wyoming sheriff named Walt Longmire, his 3 deputies, and his lone administrative assistant. To make things livelier, some storylines involved Walt's lovely daughter Katie and the sheriff's best pal, Henry Standing Bear, the owner-operator of a local watering hole named the Red Pony. If you've ever driven through Sheridan or Johnson County, Wyoming, you've went through the inspirational heart of Longmire. And by the way, I'm wearing a high school t-shirt from Sheridan, Wyoming. However, there are some geographic and demographic inaccuracies in the TV series. Absaroka County is fictional, but at least the county was named for the Absaroka mountain range that lies to the west near the Yellowstone National Park. There are 2 major problems with showing the real geography of those 2 counties. First, the summer is short, which would impact the filming season. And second, with a resident population that's over 95% white, there's not enough diversity among the locals to feature racist storylines, which Hollywood loves to exploit. TV executives found a way around those problems. First, they created a Wyoming-based Cheyenne reservation. There is a Northern Cheyenne reservation, but it is in Montana, not Wyoming. Walt's main legal rival among the Cheyenne was an officer by the name of Matthias, who was played by Zahn McClarnon. McLarnon appeared in 29 out of the 63 episodes. That's almost half of the storylines. The solution to both problems was to film the Wyoming crime drama 750 miles further south in and around Las Vegas and Santa Fe, New Mexico. Las Vegas is 82% Hispanic and about 2% Native American. Santa Fe is 44% Hispanic and about 2.5% Native American. A lot of people there to draw on to play as extras amongst the Cheyenne Reservation residents. Meanwhile, back in the real counties of Johnson and Sheridan, there are less than 5% Hispanic and Native Americans combined. By filming a Wyoming crime drama in New Mexico, problem one, lack of ethnic and racial diversity, was solved. Northern New Mexico has a much longer warm season in which to shoot outdoor scenes, so problem two, short shooting season, was also solved. Movies, TV shows, and documentaries allowed me to see other places, and that included the people, if there were any. There clearly aren't people on the moon or Mars, but I'm hooked on space documentaries because they're about the new frontier. Speaking of space documentaries, let me give a shout out to a couple of YouTubers who are producing some really great programs on space, space travel, and space obstacles. Answers with Joe Scott and The Curious Droid. Keep up the good work, guys. I really like your shows. Looking ahead on the Vantage Point, there are movies that get the landscape right, but the culture and people are often wrong. Or the people and the culture are right, but the place is wrong. I hope you'll join me next time when Geography Goes to Hollywood takes on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou in the original Walking Tall. I'll see you next time here on The Vantage Point.